Hey, Coco, congrats on the
Hi.
win today.
Thanks.
Your opponent definitely made you really fight for it. You had to dig deep a little bit in the first and second set. How would you say your ability to problem solve and kind of make game adjustments has kind of evolved over the last year or so?
Yeah, I think overall I was playing the right way. I think I just made some errors, which was expected today. It's only my fourth day on hard court, or yeah, I took some time off after, well, 2 days off. Sometime is not a lot. 2 days off after Olympics. So my first hit on hard court. Well, actually, I hit with my 11-year-old brother for like 30 minutes, but my first hit on hard court was here on Sunday night. So overall, I mean, I'm happy with how I played. It's not easy transitioning from all these different surfaces in such a short amount of time, but I am happy to get pushed through.
Congrats, Coco.
Thanks.
In terms of the adjustments and making that quick adjustment, what are the biggest things? What is, like, explain to the layperson what the biggest
Yeah.
difference is coming from Roland Garros to Toronto?
Yeah, for me, it's just my movement. I think, getting to balls maybe quicker sometimes, and I think, or slower sometimes, and the stopping and going. There's no, I slide sometimes on hard court, but obviously not as easily as on clay. I'm sure that's everybody, but yeah, and obviously the pace of the ball, the way you play, balls don't bounce up as much. So I think it's just the movement that I'm still getting used to, and that can only just come with more reps. But I am confident that I will, find it. I feel happy with how today went. I had chances to make it maybe a 6-2, 6-2 match. So yeah.
Obviously, coming back from the Olympics is probably definitely tough, changing time zones. But I'm also kind of curious what that experience was like being around other high-level elite athletes in their respective sports. Does that kind of re-energizing you, seeing these guys perform at the highest level? I know you have some sort of relationship with Gabby Thomas and
Yeah.
Sydney McLaughlin just won a gold
Yeah, I
medal in
know. I
world
just
record
watched
fashion.
it.
So how does that kind of re-energize you a little bit, being around people like that?
Yeah, it gives me like a lot of inspiration, and seeing Sydney and then Tara, she won the long jump, and then yeah, Gabby Thomas winning the 200, and Sha'Carri winning silver. It's just so many people that I got to talk to, and it definitely is inspiring. And just seeing how all of them went through respective downs and their careers, and able to find it, and each of them going through different mental and physical challenges, and it does inspire me, and just also it puts perspective to like of my age, like a lot of them are in 24, between 24 to 27 range, and so I guess it puts into perspective sometimes. When you want things to happen now, I think I just learned to just trust in my training and trust in the journey, just with talking with them and learning about their stories, and sometimes when you do well young, you just want everything to happen now, which all of them at some point did well young, just because they're so good. But I just learned, to trust the journey, and trust maturity, and just your game gonna reach its final form in a few years. I'm 20, so hopefully by like 24, I'm there.
How much? I mean, is there ever any, like, not FOMO, but you ever wonder what would have happened if you stuck with track when you watch the track competition?
Yeah, I actually do, and I do. I mean, I do feel like I could have been. I don't know if I would have been as good as I was in tennis and track, but I strongly feel like if I would have trained, I could have been an Olympian. That track is the only sport I would say that in, just because I did do well in middle school. Like never training. I didn't go to one track practice, and I won all my races except two, and both were against the same girl, and she was in 8th grade. So, yeah, I was, my mom said too, she ran track at Florida State. So she was like, I think if, I think 400 would have been my race. Noah Lau said he saw me as like a 400 hurdler, but I'm like kind of scared of hurdlers. So, yeah, so I don't think I would have been like that, but definitely 400 or longer would have been my thing. So I do wish that sometimes I'm like, what could have happened? And I even talked to my dad about like putting me in some like local track meets in the off season, just for like, just for the fun of it, and just see where I could go. So I think I do want to do that. I do maybe one off season, just run a race. It doesn't hurt I wouldn't like train much for it. But just to see what my time would be pretty cool. I never ran out of blocks before, so I guess I would have to learn how to do that.
Hi, Coco.
Hi.
It's really interesting, I think, because you're so young and you've achieved so much success, and you've basically gone from being the hunter to the hunted, because everyone is trying to play the best tennis against you. And I'm curious, after all that you've gone through and all that you've achieved, how have you navigated kind of the pressure and the weight of expectation that comes with having success in an early age and having to replicate that success and find new ways and maybe new ways to play the opponents who have come to know you as a certain kind of player?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I think, I feel like a lot of times people play, their best tennis against the higher ranked players, and that's just because they have nothing to lose. So it's definitely a difference. Like you said, being whatever he said. You know what he said. So, yeah. But I think overall it just makes me better. If everybody's playing me at their high level, it can only make me better. And the thing is that I guess when you have success young, I think people, especially like fans of the sport, tend to forget, you're still developing, and no sport, maybe except gymnastics, you're really reaching your peak at like 20 years old. I think that's probably one of the few. And I mean, in this last Olympics showed us that that's not true with all the ages of some of the gold medalists and obviously Simone Biles. So I think a lot of times tennis fans kind of forget that when they see like somebody do well, and they forget that that person is developing. And it's great that, not just me, but other girls are doing well so fast. But, I think we also have to give grace on us because, we're still becoming a better player. And a lot of times when in the past, when you look at reasons why some younger girls maybe don't do as well as they get older, it's more mental, if anything, not because they physically can't handle it. So, I think overall I'm just trying to put that in perspective. And honestly, the Olympics was a great learning experience for me, and it really showed me that perspective a lot.
And I know one of the things that you've been working on is your serve, and you made a few tweaks to it recently. Just kind of wondering what that process has been like as you try to implement something like that in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it is getting better. Today I served well. I think I had like 4 or 5 aces. A couple double faults here. I think it was like 4. So definitely, for me, I try to give myself maybe 2 per set. So I think it was at 4 or 5. So I think that's like kind of where I expect to be. Obviously, you want to go with no double faults, but I think just because I go so big on the first serve, it's kind of a risk that you are willing to take. But yeah, it is something that I am working on. I am happy, like compared to Olympics, I thought I didn't serve as well as I would have liked to. So coming here, it was important for me to just go for my serve every point, and I think that's what I tried to commit to doing today and playing against all the targets.